Hello, I'm Elgato and welcome back to the video. Today we continue my journey through the top 10 best Minecraft updates of all time for the PC version of the game. And today we're going to be taking a special look back to the beta to talk about the 1.7 update. The 1.7 update on the surface seems like it's a fairly small update, and you might not have even heard about this update before because it was surrounded on both sides by really significant updates for various versions of the game. But the truth is, beta 1.7 is one of those huge updates in terms of the impact it made indirectly, but also in terms of the impact it made on like my personal life. I had a lot of friends who were like really excited, like while I was in school, about this update coming out for the PC. They're like, pistons, you can do this and that with them. And I think the excitement that caused alone gives this update reason enough to be here. And I want to talk about all the changes in this update and why it's the 5th best update of all time, making the top 5. So hopefully you do enjoy this video, like if you do like it. But let's get straight into talking about the title screen here, which as you'll notice is slightly different to the previous beta 1.3, with the fact that it now looks a little bit more like modern Minecraft. Like, look, the logo has changed, and look, the GUI scale's a little bit better, so it looks like it's a full 1080p game. I know this will look weirder on mobile devices, but for PCs this looks about normal. Also, things are just very slightly different. We've got more graphics options, but the key thing is that the world options look exactly how they do to this day, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty certain this is how they look right now, unless I've entirely forgotten or something like that. But yeah, what we're actually going to try and do is take our previous world from 1.2, and we're going to try and take it into this version right here. That might be tricky. Oh! So apparently what it just does. Oh, okay, so fun little fact about the worlds prior to 1.5 is they actually didn't save before the 1.5. I think it was 1.2 on the PC, but back in the beta they didn't save the world. They would just generate it each time from the seed. So the world that I used to have with the jungle and the village and stuff, that's all gone now. This is the real world, and as you can see, things are just a little bit different. In fact, things are incredibly different, right? So we're gonna eat. By the way, we're gonna be using the old eating system. Okay, once we kill another pig, and I want to talk about what's going on with this update. So when did it come out? So the 1.7 update, or beta 1.7 update, officially came out on June the 30th of 2011. Again, surprisingly, close to like all the updates we've talking about in terms of, 1.3 and beyond. This was only 3 months after 1.3, but yet so many changes have been made since then. And yeah, the reason this update is so significant is not its original release to me, which was the significant one. That's when, like I said, all my friends were like telling me about it, because I guess it was in end for school year or something, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm playing Minecraft so much. I remember I had one friend in particular who was like so excited about pistons. But the other reason this update is such a big deal in terms of just like its release is because this was the first major update, or first real update, to come out for Minecraft on the 360. So Minecraft 360 launched with 1.6 beta, which meant this was the first update there. So even though it was a fairly small update in terms of the PC side of things, it was the last major update before they started to release the full size game, and things kind of changed. And also it was the first update on terms of console, and there's a perfect symmetry to that if you ask me. But let's talk about what the update introduced, because that's where things get exciting, right? So this update actually introduced quite a few different things. The biggest one, of course, being pistons. Pistons, if you're wondering, they look like this. I mean, everyone knows pistons at this point, but at the time they were this novel new concept because everything in Minecraft was pretty static and blocky. Everything in Minecraft is this game about blocks, and sometimes there was some redstone to like activate a door or something, but until this point it was mostly just like, oh yeah, most objects are static. But pistons are the first object which you could really control how things work. So if we power this on, which we'll do so by placing a button, we have to place it on the side of a block, so we'll place down some cobblestone, which also changed its texture in this update. This is the first time we got new that, and as you can see, now we've got a simple circuit where we can activate pistons, and on the surface this seems fairly small, but the ability to literally push blocks in Minecraft automatically, again, by itself it sounds cool, but the number of possibilities it opens up is literally insane. And you might be saying like, oh, Toycat, do you really mean literally insane? Yeah, I really do mean literally insane. You can do, so sticky pistons, by the way, if you combine it with a slime ball, also came in the same update, and they allow you to do even crazier stuff, because if we do something like, so if we, I don't know, we drag a stack over from there, and then we'll drag it this way, and then we'll drag it like this way. I'm not even sure what we're doing here, but if you can set up like a redstone system, like we're going to try and do right here, and you can make it so an entire like stack of blocks. Oh, I put that slightly one block too far out. But you can do like really crazy chains of this, and I've seen like self-built houses made this way. You can see all these different things being made with this particular thing, which is pretty crazy, right? So we'll place this over there, over here now, I guess. And as you can see, just with this simple mechanism, I should be able to, if I like time it right at least. I guess we need some repeaters for that, which by the way, they properly linked in with redstone this update, so you could actually curve it around. It used to be you had to have redstone going in a straight line. This was not not possible before. Again, it's crazy how that stuff worked. Also, this was back when Redstone was Redstone crosses. There's so many little changes. But yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to put a button just over here, and we're going to show you that we have one thing. Go out, go in. It's stuck to the piston, and you can like move it around step to step to step. And I kind of want to do this now that I've like committed to it. So let's have the Redstone also go this way, I guess, and then we'll have it link into, oh, I guess it just connects the button there. And then we'll have a redstone repeater here. We'll set this one to a higher setting, so this one goes second. And I'm sticking to this. I'm going to get this done. I want to show you the amazing thing of just like, first thing I can come up with in this update. Oh, and then we'll go that way, I guess. There we go. So now what should happen is that cobblestone cube, okay, I did that all slightly wrong. But as you can see, I just moved an entire cube. And if we could keep this up and just move an entire stack of stuff to somewhere else. It's crazy the number of things you can do here. And and even though that might seem like it's small, the fact that you can have just a continuous loop of moving blocks is pretty crazy. But that was only one of the things they added in this update. They also added shears for the first time. Shears did not exist before this update, which means that as of this update, this is the last time, or 1.6 was the last time, you could actually punch sheep normally and get their stuff. And this is one of those changes where it's like, I mean, I guess that's kind of cool, which meant you could continuously shear sheep, get more wool, which is kind of nice. Also, they decided to, you know, add in a bunch of different, like, smaller changes. So, for instance, fences did not stack before this update. You might not believe that, but before this update, fences took up an individual block each. It's one of the logical changes where they're like, oh yeah, what if fences could stack together? Wouldn't that be crazy? Before this update, again, this sounds unbelievable, but TNT used to be detonated by punching it. Used to do that, but as of this update, you now have to do this, which means, by the way, we're going to get away from that. That used to be how you had to detonate TNT, with a punch, which meant just breaking TNT was a pain. You'd always, like, you know, mess up and be like, oops, now I've detonated some stuff. In this update, they fixed that. And honestly, the biggest thing is the fact that they had a bug fix in this update for clay, which meant essentially clay and bricks were introduced for the first time with this update. They also changed the brick texture, and just all those things are kind of cool and kind of crazy if you ask me. So let's talk about what the update didn't do so well. So the cool thing about an update like this one is that because it focused on such a few minor things and, you know, because it was fairly small in terms of the grand scheme of things, in terms of changes, there's not much you can hate about the update. Even if you hate everything about it, it's still only really like 3 or 4 different changes. But the truth is the big change in this update that they've made that's honestly in some ways negatively impacted Minecraft to this day is the fact that you have to shear sheep like this. Oh, did I get 4 sheep wool? I guess you used to be able to get 4 wool from a sheep. I learned that just now on the spot. But yeah, the crazy thing about this update is the fact that it meant that you have to do that, which means sleeping at night's a little bit harder. Your first day in Minecraft's a bit harder. And honestly, it's just kind of annoying sometimes that you have to get iron before you can do that. Like, personally, you know, whenever they make the game harder, it's going to annoy some number of people, I guess. And I guess in this case, it's one that really got me. But again, like I said, there's very few people who can really be upset about this. But unless you're the sort of person who's like, you know, I really liked when Minecraft was about building, because this was the update where it shifted from being like, oh yeah, you can build if you'd like to like, okay, guess what? Now we can do crazy slideshows of pistons, because I made this, you know, this one-time little contraption thing. I wonder if I could do that in reverse. Yeah, if I put the pistons to like different settings now, so we'll have this be 1, and then this be 1, and then we have to put like I guess a different repeater here, but which we'll put on max. I don't even know how we'll do that. But my point being is you can actually like, I know it's kind of crazy, right, that you can do stuff. Oh, it doesn't work in reverse. But my point being here is the fact that you can move stuff, you know, autonomously, and you can make entire houses just with pistons. Like, again, the possibilities people had, they're not just moving one block from one place to another. They're doing so many crazy things. It's crazy. The fact that Redstone properly linked in repeaters, you know, repeaters were introduced in 1.3, like I said in the 9th best update. But the fact that they're here too meant that now you can actually properly, they only link into repeaters, not out repeaters that way, meant that you can now have more compact redstone builds. And again, that allowed for cooler stuff. Before this update, you had to go like that, whereas now you can like curve into it and stuff. You know, the small changes they made to redstone and the big change they made to redstone, to this day, I'd say there hasn't been a block as interesting as the piston. And yeah, there's a fun fact. So before we end, let's talk about what this update means for the future. So yeah, the fun fact about this update that you might not have known about is the fact that the 1.7 beta update actually, you know, the pistons actually came from a modder. The piston mod, even though it was, they were introduced to the game by Jeb, this was a Jeb feature, he worked on them, they were mostly based off a mod someone had created from the community, and I feel like that's a really good opportunity for, you know, like the future of like, guess what, look at mods, look at their, you know, games, work out what's not quite Minecrafty. There's a lot of mods out there that are like, you know, that doesn't feel like Minecraft, does it? But there are also a lot of mods which do feel a lot like Minecraft, Minecraft and which could change Minecraft for the best of the worst. And honestly, I feel like adding more stuff like the pistons, because again, the pistons, without them, so many of modern Minecraft builds just wouldn't be possible. I still love TNT in this update. Look how much like better that explosion used to be. But yeah, basically adding more stuff like the pistons is something they should do in the future, because without pistons, would Minecraft be the game it is today? I don't believe so. I feel like they are one of the fundamental changes in the game, and maybe there are other fundamental changes out there in mods that, again, I haven't played every single mod, I can't tell you which ones are best and worst, but I feel like there are some things out there which could be implemented in Minecraft and could expand the playability, the fun of the game by quite some significant amount. So yeah, pistons, one of the greatest features ever added. They're so great that they made this update standalone the 5th best update of all time. That and the fact that it had clay, that and the fact that it, made TNT not the mess, which again, at the time was a really big deal. It's something I think is kind of cool. So before we end today, I figure given that I have all this TNT anyway, let's set up a huge explosion and let's just like see what that's all about then, shall we? So let's detonate that with some redstone. Let's run away from this. And yeah, let me mention that this was the 5th best update of Minecraft. Oh, jeez. Minecraft Java. Explosions used to be so much cooler, right? Of Minecraft Java's history. I hope you have all enjoyed it. Next up, we're going to be covering tomorrow the 4th best update of all time. If you want to see that, make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on, or you can check the playlist that's going to be linked in just a few seconds. If you click on it, you'll end up watching the next little episode of that. Also, I now have a playlist of every single video on the ToyCat channel. If for some reason you think to yourself, like, I want to watch more ToyCat videos, but, either they're not being recommended to me, or, like, just it's not easy to do so, then at the end of this video, just tap on your screen or click on your screen or whatever you want to do, and you should be able to watch or at the end of every video, starting from now onwards, you'll be able to watch every ToyCat video in order, or I think it's reverse order, and if that's a thing you want in your life, then power to you, man. I encourage you to do that. So thank you very much for watching today's video, and I guess I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.